Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality, spirituality. Oh, now we get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to reality. Oof. Hold on. Here we go. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington, and the reason why I'm tearing up right before I even started the show is because this show is very personal to me. It's a show that actually I've talked about this before, but now it's a direct hit. But before I go on to the topic of the show, let me just share with some of my new listeners. I get new listeners every week. Who the hell I am and what am I doing and who is this Rebecca L. Norrington? Well, I'm the self-proclaimed happiness specialist, and what that means is what I practice in every moment is how to experience, I use the word happiness, peace, balance, an energy of satisfaction, a connective energy. How do I practice that in every moment, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what's happening? And today's show is about life and death. And earlier this week, it was actually on Monday, I received a phone call that my mother died. Now, the interesting thing about what I practice, being a happiness specialist, is I talk about all phases of life, and I practice responding, not responding, but practice all phases of life, even prior to the actual event. And one of the reasons why this topic of death is so important to me is because of my only son. And the reason why is I just remember being in my 20s, definitely teenage and 20s and 30s, and thinking that if anything happened to any of my parents, two of my parents, both of my parents, I remember saying to myself, I don't know what I would do. I remember feeling that so strongly, like I remember feeling I don't know how it would go on. I don't know how I would survive. And it was a running theme in my 20s and my 30s. I believe in my 40s also. And then something happened, and I only have one son. And then something happened. It was one of my students. You know, I've been teaching fitness for 40 years, and one of my students had breast cancer, and so she took off coming to the gym for radiation treatments, and she took off a period of months. And I remember her specifically because she was the head librarian in this really hoity-toity town. I mean, she was really, really very knowledgeable, very smart, just just one of those women, if you ever had a question about anything in the world, she had the answer. And I remember that she took off she took off for her chemo treatment. Ooh, my son just got off the line. Thank goodness, because I was all shaken up when he was listening. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You know, when you have people that you love that are close to you, the emotions are a little bit stronger. But anyway, let me get back to the story. So she took off for chemo. She came back. She came back full, strong, for maybe about a year and a half, and then the cancer came back. And the last time the cancer came back, she died. She could not, you know, she didn't survive that last bout of cancer. Thank you for hanging in with me on this day. And I remember going to her service, and she had an only child. She had a daughter, and the service was in the library. And I remember sitting in that library. It was a beautiful library. It just had been remodeled. It was just beautiful. When I say remodeled, I'm talking about foundationally from the ground on up. It was gorgeous. Windows. It was just the most beautiful library I've seen. And she was the head librarian, and she oversaw all of the repairs and all of the remodeling. And her family told me that she was waiting for that remodeling to end so she could leave, so she could go. Anyway, I was at the service, and her daughter, her only daughter, was sitting in the front. And this young girl, she was probably in her 20s, and she cried, and she was uncontrolled. She could not be consoled. She was wailing. I've talked about this several times on the show, and she was wailing and screaming. It was more than a scene. I remember thinking there was no way to console her. She was distraught beyond belief. And on that same day, it was 2003 or 2004. I remember on that same day I made a promise to myself that I wanted to give my son options of how to respond. He was an only child. I wanted to, how could I give him options? I did not want him to have to, I did not want him to go through all of that. It looked like pain to me, all of that hurt and all of that pain. And the interesting thing was, she knew her mother was going to die. I mean, they knew she was dying. It wasn't as if it was, you know, one of those a car accident and it's a shock. So with all of that, I said, oh, her parents didn't prepare her. And that's what this show is about, preparation, the preparation of a death of a loved one. And on that day when I made the promise to myself, I said, I've got to do something. I don't know how I'm going to do it. The universe, as usual, always has a solution, always has an answer, always gives you an answer to any question. And it was 4 years later that my father died. And it was that on that day, when my father died, my son flew in for the service. And I remember just, talking about my father, speaking for about 20 minutes. And then after the services, my son and I went to the beach. And I said we were sitting out looking out into the, sun was setting. Well, actually, the sun wasn't setting. It was maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But, you could see the sun. Anyway, my son asked me, how do you feel? How do you feel that Gramps is dead? And at that moment, I felt my father's spirit, and I said, Gramps is dead. I actually made a joke about it. And so that was in 2008. Fast forward to 2018, Monday, October the 29th, Monday, when I get the phone call that my mother died. Now, when I say practice and prepare for death, of course it's not an easy topic. I know in the United States it's not an easy topic. It is a topic that I don't remember my parents talking to me about, in detail. And when I say talking, I'm talking about preparing for it, meaning that the day my mother died, the day I was told that she died. Well, it was in the morning, so I don't know if she died early in the morning or late that night. But that night before I went to bed, there was something different. There was something different about my bedtime routine. I remember specifically I stayed up maybe to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I usually don't stay up that late. So one of the things I want to share with you is to be in tune. We all have it, that sixth sense, that intuition, that inner voice, whatever that inspiration. Just practice listening and following it. And maybe I don't know the reason, I don't know all the answers, I don't have all the answers, but there is a voice. We all have this GPS, this universal connected spirit guide. We all have it, and it's when you listen to it, it's amazing what journey and what path that you will find yourself on without even trying. That morning, I still hadn't heard that my mother died. I still did not know. It was Monday morning. I had an appointment at a chiropractor, and for some reason, I said, no, I don't feel like going. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave the house. I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to stay at the house for some reason, and I did. And sure enough, a half hour later, I get the phone call. My point is this. Yes, I cried. Yes, I was in shock. I mean, there was no expecting that my mother died. And the last time I spoke with my mother had been months, because toward the end of her life, let's just say she was untrusting of me. She was untrusting of a lot of things, and she really began to just stay in the house and confine herself in the house. Now, reasons why untrusting, staying in the house, there was a time where I, talked to her and let's go out, let's exercise, and for whatever reason, the universe just decided, or her journey was to be in that house, to stay in that house, to stay in that house. And it was her safe place, and it's where she felt good and where she felt safe. And she loved being at home. I'm kind of a homebody myself. She loved being at home. To say all that, last year in 2017, I remember, just only strictly on intuition, having my brother with someone that drove him up. So we had a small little family reunion on Easter. My brother, myself, and my mother, we had breakfast. I made breakfast, and it was the last time the little family, the family of three, me and my brother and myself and my mother, got together. And I've got tons of pictures of that time. You never know when you're going to see somebody for the last time. And it's hard to practice, because I'm going to throw my own hand up, not taking everything for granted. I mean, I take the sun shining for granted. I take so many things for granted, but I never know when I'm going to see someone for the last time. And when I hang out, when my son and I hang out, even now, our new practice is we don't say goodbye. We say we say if I see you again. So my what I'm sharing is my perspective about this life, because I'm not going to be here forever. My son knows that. I've even thought about what if, he goes before me. I mean, it's this preparation. I mean, look at, we prepare for everything else. We prepare for holidays. We prepare for Thanksgiving. We prepare for Christmas. We prepare for New Year's. We prepare when we go to the movies. We prepare for a date. We prepare for we even prepare before we go to the market. We go to the grocery store. We got a list. So preparing for death is just a natural part of life. And how do I prepare? What is that? What is that preparing? Let me say this. On that day when I found out my mother was dead, I use the word dead. I don't know why I don't like that word pass. I just say she's dead. And that day was a really special day. I spoke with my son. We shared emotions. I went outside to the backyard, and I have this area. It's surrounded by trees, and there's a creek. Well, this creek's dried up, but I gathered some rocks together, some white rocks, and I made a little area for my mother down by the creek. It's a little circular. I can see it from the house. It's a little circular area. She really liked. The white rocks stand out, so I've got a little circular round of white rocks. And you know what's strange, my dear audience? You know what's really strange? On that day, I could hear my mother speaking to me. I didn't hear her before. I didn't hear her the months before she died. But on the day she died, it's like my mother came back to life because I could hear her voice. And I could hear her saying things to me. I could hear her saying to me that she was sorry for not speaking to me. I remember having an argument with her a while back and saying, so you don't want me to come and visit you at the house? You want the next time I see you or in your company, you just want the next time for me to know that you're dead? I remember telling her that. And the truth is, this life is so short that, and not only is it short, but let me say that there is a meaning to everything that happens. There is a meaning to everything that happens, and there is a reason to everything that happens, regardless of whether I want to understand it or regardless of what I get. Hey, what's up? Ayo, if you want to talk to me, just press the number 1. But I was just saying that just preparing for death, just like we prepare for everything else. We prepare for holidays, we prepare to move, we prepare for going on a date, we prepare for going to the grocery store. So the preparation is an open conversation, and an open conversation, but with an energy of lightness. I know it's a difficult thing to be light talking about death, but that lightness, that feeling of lightness and thinking that something is so serious and so important and so doom and gloom, that's not going to serve you in any way. Not to say that you don't experience it, but when you practice keeping everything light, when you practice letting go of this is serious, when you practice letting go of anything that's important, all of that practice is going to carry over into your real life. And there is a mantra that I use. It's all the time. I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. Now, does that mean I don't care about my mother dying? Well, the program answer is, of course I care about her dying. But the other truth is, I know that everything that happens, everything including the death, including health, including circumstances, everything that happens, quote unquote, to me in this lifetime for me is for, let's all say it together, our betterment. And so even with that, mother died, she's gone, I can still have a conversation with her. Now, the day that she died, I was talking to her all day long. She was talking to me all day long, 2 days, 3 days. She's kind of been quiet the last 2 days, but I could call her up in a second. I can just feel her out in a second. And she is more, it's going to sound crazy, but she is more in my life now than she was when she was alive for the last few months. She is more in my life now than she has been for months. I can feel her support. I can feel her with me. I can feel her love. In fact, my son made a very, very, oh, Jesus, this kid, made a very, very deep comment that death brings freedom, and there is no fear. When you're gone and your spirit and your energy, your soul, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, is freed of all the programming, of all of the heaviness of this world. And I'm not even saying, you know what I mean when I say heaviness of this world, and you are free. And all you feel is love, you feel all of that leaving. There is people talk about heaven. I don't know about you, but having no fear in this life and being filled with love, that's heaven. So the heaven that we talk about, the heaven that is talked about, is a state of being. And I'm here to say that I'm going to ask until I breathe my last breath to let go of all of the fear, any fear, and to let go of all of these things that I piled on and I'm carrying based on a programming. And what am I carrying? Oh, all right, hold on. I have someone else. Hi, welcome to Reality Spirituality. Is this Nathan?
This is. What's up?
Hi, Nathan. Hi.
Hey. So just keep me posted. I'm on the street if it gets a little too loud or disruptive.
No. Yeah, I will. I'll just hang up on you if it does. How's that?
Sounds good.
So one of the things that we're talking about, do you have any comments or do you have any statements or you have any questions?
I felt a little, the only statement I have, I just felt a little relief when you said, not taking things so seriously, and it's really a blanket for everything, and just letting everything settle a little bit, where nothing is too serious, nothing is so important that I need to stress or be super tense or agitated about. I just like that for me.
Yeah. Well, remember our saying, Jimmy cracked corn, and
I know, I heard you say that. I like that.
The whole thing is and I shared with you, is this letting go of control and trusting more. And I'm not going to sit up here and try to do it myself. I'm going to ask for help from the universe and ask them, how do I let go of control? How do I not take anything so seriously anymore? How do I let go? I know I was taught all of those things. This is serious. Oh, this is important. And the world is filled with what's important and what's serious. And I could get in a conversation or a debate with anybody, which I'm not going to, but the world is all serious. And I just can't do that serious vibe because it just feels like you said. You talked about it earlier about having a remnant. You can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel the remnants of seriousness. And it's not light.
No, it's not light. And it's not very good.
No, it doesn't feel good.
No, I did want to add this now that I think about it, is I just add on for the moment on everything. So not taking something too seriously for the moment and not having fears for the moment, just to give myself just to let myself off the hook for any moment that comes up and know that, well, that's for this moment, and then there's another moment coming up next, and another moment coming up next. And it kind of keeps me on my game a little bit more because sometimes I really am flying. I really do feel, you see the streets of New York around here, I really do feel like I'm not afraid. And then all of a sudden, you know, I don't give myself a pass forever. It's like I got to keep checking in.
Yeah, that's what they call being conscious and being aware. It's a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
One thing you said, which I want to add, because this is I like it. What I want to add is the acceptance of however you're feeling in any moment. Just the acceptance of it all, without judging. I'm taking it seriously. I think this is important, because that's a big one. Accepting all of this life, accepting all of it and all of its feelings and all of its vibes is really, I was going to say really important, but it's
nah.
Yes, it's just a great practice just to be more open. And for me, it's just getting rid of all the programmed program thought and program reaction and just being different. And it's not easy, especially bucking up against everybody out there.
Yes, indeed. Doing something different than, because it really does feel like, well, everyone around me is doing this, or this is what I'm seeing on TV. This is how people talk. This is what this person does next to me, but that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what I do and what works for me. I'm really finding my own way. Yeah.
It is really, really interesting finding your own lane and being okay. I'm talking for myself, and being okay with what my lane looks like. What my lane looks like. What I look like. It's and you're you know, in a lot of ways you're so free being able to. I mean, you're the one that taught me about making an ugly face, making it and being okay with a crazy face. I mean, that bothers me. I can make a funny face and share it. I'm not going to make a funny face and share it. I have to look a certain way, and you know, so
well,
it's
I mean, let's be clear, audience. She was the one that taught me those faces. But we just didn't do the pictures,
audience, but I'm not going to post them.
Yeah, but she's the master of the funny face.
Yeah,
and lo and behold, you can be funny face and still be cute underneath.
Well,
kind of.
Well, now you know. Yeah. It's just so interesting. But you said something earlier about being different and looking at other people, and because I look at all these trees, hundreds of trees outside, and all of them are different. Every single tree is just different, and then every single branch is different, and that difference in the real world the difference is not celebrated like, okay, you're herd animal. You know, we all get to be certain age, and then you have to get married, and then when you get married, you have to have a child, and when you have one, then how many are you going to have? Two. So it's just really not fighting, but just noticing, witnessing the programs, and just be yourself, be who you are, do what feels good to you, do what feels right for you.
Yeah, I'm totally into that. I was going to say that with all of the programming, it also does feel like judgment's coming from the outside, from other people, from this group, from that group, and really no one has the means to judge us, and it's really not coming from anyone else. So I use that as a reminder as far as my own journey, because you know, I'm the one that has to go to sleep with me at the end of the night. I'm the one in the mirror. I'm the one that checks in the moment and says, okay, how am I feeling? What's going on? Am I taking this serious or not? And even if I got a big smile on my face and a red nose and clown hair, someone says, oh, wow, he's so fun and light. Look at him. But what if on the inside I'm really heavy? So even someone else isn't going to have that same tuner to myself, and that's why it's just so important to find our own way. And that's just no one else can really validate for us one way or the other, which is empowering.
Yes, it is.
But it is a switch.
No, go ahead.
Oh. I was just going to add one tiny thing. I was just going to say that is a switch from growing up and the parents' approval, making something, showing the parents, going to school, turning in the paper, getting a grade, getting a response. You know, it's this constant, I do this, and then I show someone and get feedback, and then I just keep that cycle going. And it's just not quite like that.
No, that's a really good example.
Yeah.
And then you added. It starts young. It starts. Look what I did. Oh, that's good. And oh, it is about showing other people and getting approval and telling other people and telling parents and all that kind of crap. All I gotta say, Nathan, is if I would have known what I know now, what I would have been then, I would have been a different mother. But we all know that everything happens for a reason, and good luck with your good luck with your practice and your journey.
Thanks.
It's fighting
really
what you. What? Go ahead.
I was just gonna throw you a little credit, but I really did feel pretty free as far as what I wanted to get involved in and what I didn't want to get involved in there. I definitely grew up with a sense of I can do whatever I want to do and it's going to be okay. Even though I still had that, I still wanted that validation. You know, I had to grow out of that on my own. But it wasn't one of those. And I don't know. You talked about you growing up and with grades or any certain type of jobs or anything like that. I don't know if you had that, and then you just decided to let that go, or you know, not have that be my upbringing. But I really didn't feel that.
Well, I have to say that it felt horrible to me that I was forced to do so many things, and I didn't have a choice. I mean, I was forced. I was forced to take piano lessons. I was forced to take violin lessons. I never said, oh, I want to play the piano. I never said that. I was forced to do a lot of things, and I said, I am never going to force you to do anything. I mean, that's one of the big things that I didn't. Anything that felt bad to me, I didn't want to do that to you. But back to let's talk a little bit about this my mother that died a few days ago, and how did her death affect you personally, or how have your feelings, if you'd like to share your feelings of her dying?
You know, I was just thinking about that because I was tying in this idea that when I found out that I already, how am I supposed to feel? What am I supposed to feel? And I just spent the first day or two really reminding myself that there's just no way I'm supposed to feel. And I know it sounds really simple. Yeah, super simple, but it really helped me because, I mean, I had things, you know, I had work and I had rehearsal and I had time on my own, and it was, I took a long nap. I just really, you know, really felt that battle of what do I do next? What basically what should, we talked about that word. I did have that word, what should I feel? What should I do? And I just kept reminding myself whatever it is okay. And it really was a bunch of things. I told you a little bit earlier I had a heightened level of sensitivity, just a little bit. I just felt a little more aware of things I was looking at, words I was saying, things I was listening to, just a heightened presence. And I actually felt for that first day or two, I felt a heightened level of not joy, but I did feel a lightness. It felt like if there's a time to be light and a time to just like look out and find appreciation or love or look for things that spark my curiosity, it just felt like that was the time to do it. And so that's what that was. Mixed
you
in
know
with
what? I'm going to have to get a transcript or a clip of just what you just said, because what you just said, I mean, who's the happiness specialist here, me or ye? I mean, I wrote down from the beginning when you said there is no way that you are supposed to feel. I had to write that down, and that is the whole topic of this show. There is no way that you are supposed to feel. Oh my goodness, that's huge. And then there is a lightness, because I'm telling you, if I run around and I tell somebody that my mother died, and then I'm laughing and I'm joking and I'm laughing, I'm laughing about, hey, my mother died on Monday, tee. I don't think that's going to be too, let me scratch that. I don't know how it's going to be received, but I know that's not what the majority of people do. So that was really big.
Yeah,
and then you said lightness. Then you said there is a lightness and there is an there's a lightness and a heightened sensitivity to the world. And you know what? The lightness and the heightened sensitivity is a gift. Is a gift. Is a favor. Is a gift. It's something to celebrate, a lightness. And I felt a lightness too. I felt a lightness. I felt a relief. I felt a relief. I felt I felt a lot of things. And I was doing a lot of remembering. But I did feel that lightness too, Nathan. And I don't know anybody that's going to say I felt a lightness after their mother died or their grandmother died, but I felt
well,
it too.
Yeah, moments of lightness. And I'll say this too, because we talked about memories, and there's a whole range of emotions. The only thing with the sadness or any sort of melancholy feelings I had, I just laid down. I mean, I didn't feel the need to. I mean, if I'm going to choose which one to share, look, everything's worth sharing. But for where I'm at right now, I just felt like I really feel like sharing my light. And if I'm really not feeling that, and, didn't have a lot of energy for one day, I just took a really long nap and laid down, and I didn't do a lot. So I might call that bad. I don't, little gloom or remembrance, whatever that was. And then just to flow through that. I think the whole thing is like allowing it to flow between states, not feeling like I need to be sad for 5 days or I need to be this for 5 days. It's just, it kind of is what it is, and that doesn't really change whether someone dies or not, or no matter what I'm doing. It's always going to be like that. And then I have maybe another minute, then I'm going to go into class.
Okay, well, I'm going to end the show pretty quickly anyway, but I want to say you need to have your own show, honey. I mean, listen, you need to have your own show because I'm taking notes on what you said. There is no way I'm supposed to feel, and the programming is deep, and there's no way. And then the other thing is just to be open about talking to your loved ones, talking to your children, talking to your parents, talking to your siblings about death. What is this, the topic non grata? What is that? Persona non, we don't talk about it. And you can talk about it and still make a little joke, Come on.
Right.
Well, thank you so much.
I love you a lot. Yeah, thank you for
chatting. I love you too, and what a pleasure having you on today's show. Thank you. Love you. And there you go. So the show is complete. Now you had my story, as long-winded as it was in the beginning, but the most important, just the insight of my only son about death of a grandmother, death of a mother, and I learned some stuff about him. There is no way you're supposed to feel. But I'm telling you, fighting the programming of I'm supposed to feel a certain way and I'm supposed to do a certain thing and I'm A, B, C, D, have everything. No. Free it up, everyone. Free it up. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. YouTube channel, you can search me on YouTube. I have a few videos. I got to add to my videos. I know. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon and Lulu.com. Second book, Program for Unhappiness, is definitely having a chapter about this death program and when people die program. It is the programming that makes you feel bad. It is the programming that makes you feel all of these things. And so recognizing the programming is key. Of course, practicing acceptance of all of it. Practicing acceptance. Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You're a physical extension of the universe. You're always changing. You're always growing. You're always evolving. Love is patient and love is kind. Be kind and patient to yourself. Be your own best friend. Shout out to my mother, Marcel Dolores Norrington. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. Have a conscious week. Thank you for listening.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Spirituality. Yeah, time to get get down.